Today's topic is on metabolic liver disease. These are distinct group of liver diseases attributed to the disorders of metabolism. Either they can be acquired or inherited. The most common acquired metabolic disorder is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Among the inherited metabolic diseases are hemochromatosis, Wilson's disease, alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, which are very much prominent. So common causes of secondary hepatic steatosis. This is a viva question. You should know which are macrovascular steatosis and which are microvascular steatosis. Microvascular steatosis, you have excessive alcohol consumption, hepatitis C, Wilson's disease, lipodystrophy, starvation, etc. Microvascular steatosis you will see it in Ray's syndrome, medications like valproate, acute fatty liver or pregnancy, HELLP syndrome, and inborn errors of metabolism. Now I'll start with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. There are two varieties histologically. One is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, definition states that there is evidence of hepatic steatosis either by imaging or histology. There are no causes of secondary hepatic fatty accumulation such as significant alcohol consumption, use of steatogenic medication, or hereditary disorders. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, most common of all the liver disorders. It's the most frequent cause of chronic liver disease, most common cause of end-stage liver disease, and disorder which needs the liver transplantation. It's present in 75% of individuals with obesity and type 2 diabetes, present in 3% of children and 50% of obese children. Pathogenesis is not fully known, but they say because of insulin and additional oxidative injury, which leads to the pathogenesis of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Excessive triglyceride accumulation, how it causes the pathogenesis. Excessive import of free fatty acids because of increased delivery, which is seen in obesity and rapid weight loss. Excessive consumption of carbohydrates and proteins to triglycerides. Overfeeding and transparental nutrition are important. Reduced export of free fatty acid because of impaired VLDL synthesis or secretion, and impaired beta oxidation of free fatty acids to ATP are the causes for fat accumulation. Insulin resistance, which is seen in type 2 diabetes mellitus, is very important. It's the most important role played in pathogenesis of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Insulin resistance leads to changes in lipid metabolism, because of increased peripheral lipolysis, triglyceride synthesis, and hepatic uptake of free fatty acid. Shift from carbohydrate to free fatty acid beta oxidation takes place, and free fatty acids cause induction of cytochrome P50, which leads, and also there is hepatotoxicity because of free oxygen radical species. Diminished autophagy also contributes to the mitochondrial injury and formation of myeloid antibodies. Kupffer cell production of tumor necrosis factor alpha and tumor necrosis factor beta activate the stellate cell directly, leading to the deposition of scar tissue. Stellate cell activation also occurs through the Hedgehog signaling pathway, in part through natural killer T cell activation. How do these patients usually present? Usually they are asymptomatic. They may present with fatigue, malaise, and abdominal pain, or it can be an incidental diagnosis. But in these cases, AST and ALT will be, that is aspartate transaminase and alanine transaminase, may be elevated in more than 90% of cases. Liver biopsy does not play much important role. NAFLD, that is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, have only slightly lower overall survival than general population, better prognosis than alcoholic hepatitis, because in alcoholic hepatitis 38 to 50% progress to cirrhosis, whereas in NASH only 8 to 26% progress to cirrhosis. Little change in the LFT throughout the course of the disease is seen. It can recur even after transplantation. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease may show all the changes associated with alcoholic liver disease, steatosis, steatohepatitis, and steatofibrosis, as seen in steatohepatitis due to alcoholic-related injury. Cirrhosis may develop and it is often subclinical, and when established it shows steatosis and steatohepatitis may be reduced. Greater than 90% of previously called cryptogenic cirrhosis are nothing but burnt out NAFLD. What is the prognosis of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? More than 90% of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease remain as isolated fatty livers, and very minimal or none progress to cirrhosis. no increased risk of death compared to general population. Whereas once the NASH is developed, 11% over 15 years develop NASH cirrhosis, out of which 31% over 8 years show decompensation and 7% over 6.5 years show hepatocellular carcinoma. To summarize, these cases, NASH cases are asymptomatic in most of the cases. Obesity, diabetes mellitus, hypertension and hyperlipidemia are frequent associated features. Increased plasma ALT, the commonest liver function test abnormality. NASH accounts for most of the cases of isolated increased plasma transaminase activity of otherwise unknown cause. Liver biopsy is rarely needed. Long-term prognosis is favorable. Graduated weight loss is the best available treatment. Next important inherited metabolic liver disease is hemochromatosis. This is excessive accumulation of body iron which is deposited in parenchyma of organs like liver, pancreas, heart, joints, endocrine organs, skin, etc. detected by Prussian blue reaction on histology. A fully developed case may show micronodular cirrhosis, diabetes mellitus in 75 to 80% cases, skin pigmentation in 75 to 80% cases. There are two types: primary homogeneous recessive disorder associated with excess iron absorption. This is called as hemochromatosis. Secondary is hemosiderosis, accumulation of iron as a consequence of parenteral administration of iron due to acquired cause like ineffective erythropoiesis, defective hemoglobin synthesis, multiple blood transfusion, enhanced absorption of iron due to alcohol consumption. The most important pathogenesis here is mutation in the HPE gene, which is located on the short arm of chromosome number 6. HPE controls hepcidin, where hepcidin normally functions like downregulates the efflux of iron from the intestine and macrophages into the plasma and inhibits the iron absorption. Hereditary hemochromatosis manifests typically after 20 grams of storage iron has been accumulated. Excessive iron seems to be directly toxic to because of following mechanism. First is lipid peroxidation by iron catalyzed free radical reaction, then stimulation of collagen formation. Third is direct interaction of the iron with the DNA. Total body iron is 2 to 6 grams in normal adults, of which 0.5 grams are stored in hepatocyte. Hemochromatosis, there is total body iron more than 50 grams. Iron accumulation is lifelong, but injury is very slow and progressive. Signs and symptoms usually develop after 50 to 60 years of age. Males are commonly affected than females. Deposition of hematocyte is seen as golden yellow granules in the cytoplasm of periportal hepatocytes initially, later deposits in the bile duct epithelium and Kupper cells. If the biological concentration in hepatic tissue, that is iron concentration in hepatic tissue, is less than 1000 microgram per gram dry weight of liver, then it is normal. More than 10,000 microgram per dry weight of the liver, then it is hemochromatosis. More than 20,000 microgram dry weight of the liver leads to the development of fibrosis and cirrhosis. Deposition of morphology. Deposition of hemosiderin is seen in the following organs in decreasing order of severity, that is liver first, then followed by pancreas, myocardium, pituitary, adrenal, thyroid and parathyroid glands, joints and skin. In liver, iron becomes evident first as golden yellow hemosiderin granules in the cytoplasm of periportal hepatocytes. End stage cirrhosis shows intense pigmentation, that is dark brown to black color liver, and the type of cirrhosis developed is micronodular type. This picture shows you all the deposition of iron by Prussian blue stain. Hepatomegaly. Clinical features of this case are hepatomegaly, skin pigmentation, that is called as bronze pigmentation, deranged glucose hemostasis, that is frank diabetes, is called as bronze diabetes mellitus, then cardiac dysfunction because of arrhythmia, cardiomyopathy, and atypical arthritis. There's another entity called as Bantu cirrhosis, where South African tribals who consume large quantities of alcohol beverages fermented in iron utensils, genetic susceptibility in these population has been implicated. Wilson's disease. Next important metabolic liver disease, which can come as a 3-marker or a 5-marker for you all. Autosomal recessive disorder marked by accumulation of toxic levels of copper in the many tissues and organs, principally the liver, brain and eye, due to mutation in chromosome number 13 ATP7B gene. It's also called as hepatolenticular degeneration disease. Normally copper is absorbed, a normal amount of copper absorbed in the body is 2 to 5 milligram per day. Then it is transported in the plasma with complex with albumin. Then it will be taken up by the liver cells, wherein it will bind to alpha-2 globulin, that is apocerebroplasmin, to form cerebroplasmin. Then there will be secretion of this cerebroplasmin bound copper into the plasma, wherein 90 to 95% of plasma copper is formed by this one. Then hepatic uptake of deacylated senescent ceruloplasmin from the plasma, followed by lysosomal degeneration and secretion of free copper into the bile. Mutation in this, actually what does this ATP7B activity do? It normally, what it does is copper cannot be passed to the, because of this mutation, copper cannot be passed to the apoceruloplasmin, ceruloplasmin, and thereby cannot be excreted in the bile and leads to free radical mediated injury. Morphology: normal ceruloplasmin bound copper which exceeds the hepatic storage spills over into the circulation, causes hemolysis and pathological changes in the sites like brain, cornea, kidney, bones, joints, and parathyroid. There will be fatty change, there is acute and chronic hepatitis and cirrhosis. Clinically, how does these patients present? They present with liver disease, features of liver disease, and because copper is deposited in the basal ganglia, there will be neuropsychiatric illness, that is mild behavioral changes, frank psychosis or Parkinsonism, eye lesions called as Kayser-Fleischer's rings, green to brown deposits of the copper in Descemet membrane in the limbus of the cornea. Next important one is alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. It is an autosomal recessive disorder of protein folding marked by the low levels of circulating alpha-1 antitrypsin. The major function of this protein is inhibition of proteases, particularly neutrophil elastase, cathepsin G, and proteinase 3, which are normally released from the neutrophils to the sites of inflammation. Alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency also leads to pulmonary emphysema because its activity of destructive proteases is not inhibited. It also causes liver disease as a consequence of hepatocellular accumulation of misfolded protein. Last slide, this gives inborn errors of metabolism where liver acts as a major site. This chart is given in your Harsh Mohan as well as in Robbins, and you should know these storage disorders like glycogen storage disorders, mucopolysaccharidosis, sphingolipidosis, and sulfidosis. And glycogen storage diseases are type 1 to type 8, and you should know the enzyme deficiency, accumulating metabolite, and organ which is involved. In most of these diseases, liver is most commonly involved, followed by heart and skeletal muscles. Thank you.